I'm a 27-year-old software engineer at a mid-sized tech company in Austin, not swimming in wealth, but I'm doing okay. Growing up, I was the typical middle child, nerdy, top of my class, building computers for fun, and always the last chosen in gym class. My older sister, Sarah, 29, was the star of the family, excelling at sports, charming everyone, and winning prom queen. Our younger brother, Matt, 24, somehow flew under the radar. Lucky him. Here's the situation. It's January 2023, and I'm finally finding my stride professionally after grinding through a 6-month coding bootcamp in 2019 while working a draining call center job. Tough times, not advised. I went from entry-level coder to a senior position, earning about $120,000 annually. A big leap from my $15 an hour retail gig a few years earlier. Money matters in this tale, so stick with me. Having seen my parents worry about finances growing up, I'm careful with my cash. My apartment is a simple one-bedroom in a decent area, and I drive a used 2018 Toyota Corolla named Touring, after Alan Turing. Total tech nerd, I know. Most of my income goes into index funds and my 401k thanks to advice from finance subreddits. Sarah, however, completely different. She's like those high school superstars who peaked early and struggled with adulthood. She's a fitness coach at a high-end gym with luxury amenities, making maybe $45,000 a year at best. Her fiancé, Kyle, calls himself a real estate mogul, always talking up deals that are about to land. Their social media is like a polished magazine spread, fancy dinners, matching workout gear, weekend trips to boutique hotels. They rent a $4,000 a month trendy loft in Austin's hip district, but their finances don't add up. Then came the late-night call. It's 11:30 p.m. mid-call of duty session. Yep, I still game, no judgment, and Sarah's on the phone, crying. They're 3 months behind on bills, maxed out their credit cards, and their rent check is about to bounce. Kyle's latest deal fell through, and his broker's threatening to pull his license. I'm a pushover. Maybe it's guilt from when she stood up for me against schoolyard bullies or her rare, I need you moment, but I offered to help just until Kyle's next deal. She said 2 or 3 months, tops. They needed $2,000 for rent and utilities. I had it in savings and family's family, right? I wired the money that night, even created a budgeting spreadsheet she ignored, and offered money-saving tips she brushed off. Big error, it became a pattern. Every month, Sarah sent payment requests, sometimes with a playful emoji, sometimes a best brother ever note. Once, she sent a photo of their cat with a thanks, uncle, my name sign, cute, but looking back, pure manipulation. I kept thinking it was temporary, that Kyle would close a deal. He didn't. That Sarah would budget. She didn't. Instead, my money funded their influencer lifestyle, obvious from their social media. While I ate budget pasta and beans, they posted $200 sushi dinners. While I put off upgrading my laptop, Sarah showed off a $600 skincare device. I even defended them when friends pointed it out, saying, they're just bad with money, they need support. Wow, was I naive. As time passed, Sarah got bolder. Payment requests arrived without explanation, just amounts with random emojis like hearts or stars. Once, she marked one urgent for a weekend trip. Meanwhile, I was making real sacrifices. I'd been saving for a house down payment, but that turned into the Sarah and Kyle bailout fund. I cut my 401k contributions from 15% to 6% to stay afloat. My laptop's still running a GTX 1080, and I switched to store brand T. A true coder's tragedy. Their social media, though? All glamour, catered events, designer outfits, spa retreats. Here's what my $2,000 monthly contributions paid for. October 2023, Sarah posts about a chic rooftop restaurant date, $175 per person with a steak pairing. 3 days later, they couldn't cover their electric bill. November 2023, Kyle suddenly has a new professional wardrobe, branded jackets everywhere, while begging for internet bill money. December 2023, they throw an extravagant holiday party with hired chefs and a professional photographer. I'm eating canned soup because I just paid their rent. January 2024, Sarah's back on her wellness kick with new fitness gear, a pricey treadmill, and organic meal deliveries. Budgeting? Nope, I justified it all. They're just bad with money, I'd tell myself. They'll repay me when Kyle's career takes off. My friend Jake, a data analyst, finally spelled it out. In 18 months, I'd given them $36,000, enough for a car or a home deposit in parts of Texas. I made a spreadsheet, classic geek move, tracking their public spending. In those 18 months, they spent at least $4,800 on gym memberships. Both had premium ones, $3,000 plus on Sarah's spa treatments, $2,400 on Kyle's golf outings, $5,000 plus on dining out, $3,500 on Sarah's skincare obsession, and $2,900 on Kyle's work attire. That's just what they shared. The real numbers were likely higher. When I mentioned budgeting, they'd snap. Sarah would say, "We need to keep up appearances for Kyle's career," or "Not everyone wants to live like a broke programmer." They'd built their lifestyle around my $2,000 monthly handouts, expecting their techie brother to fund it forever. The wake-up call came at my mom's 50th birthday party. We'd booked a charming venue in East Austin. Nice, but not glamorous enough for Sarah, who complained it wasn't Insta-worthy. I'd spent the morning setting up, coordinating food, and preparing a family video montage. Sarah and Kyle showed up late in his leased Audi, her in a designer jumpsuit, tag still on for later return, him in shiny sneakers. I was nursing a soda, dodging Kyle's NFT pitch, when Aunt Corinne, the family's blunt truth-teller, pulled me aside in the kitchen. "Kid," she whispered, "we need to talk about Sarah and Kyle." I braced for a lecture about enabling them, but she dropped a bombshell. At a cousin's bridal shower, they'd gotten drunk and ridiculed me, calling me the tech nerd with no friends, saying I was so desperate I had to buy their loyalty with my money. Sarah laughed that I squandered my cash on them instead of getting a life, and Kyle bragged they had me hooked with Sarah's, poor sister, routine. My gut twisted. I could hear Sarah's giggle from the party, probably posting another story. Corinne added they'd mocked my efforts to make Mom's party special, all while posing with decor I'd funded. Right then, Sarah burst in, rambling about Kyle needing help with a crypto app. She stopped when she saw my expression. "You good?" she asked, fake worry in her voice. "Fine," I said, keeping my tone even, but inside, done. As she sauntered back to the party, posting another perfect family night story, I knew the quiet tech guy was done being their bank. Post-party, I went full coder mode. I spent Sunday crafting a plan, weaponizing my spreadsheet. I logged 18 months of payments, PayPal records, and bank transfers, cross-referencing them with their social media. They tagged everything: restaurants, boutiques, vacations, complete with hashtags like Living Gertrude. I matched their emergency requests to posts about luxury purchases. That $500 sushi dinner posted days after a utility crisis. Kyle's designer sunglasses bought hours after a rent plea. I even screen-recorded their Instagram stories, every brunch, every treat-yourself caption, every receipt they flaunted. I wrote a script to track their posting habits. They'd request money Thursdays or Fridays, then flood Instagram with weekend splurges. Like clockwork, Monday, Sarah sent her usual $2,000 PayPal request labeled rent. I ignored it. Tuesday, another. "Hey, see my PayPal? Urgent," left on read. Wednesday, she called, leaving voicemails that went from concerned to desperate. By Thursday, she texted, "Are you upset? Kyle says we can get a rent extension, but we need you." I replied with one screenshot. Their Sunday brunch post, $450, time-stamped hours after Mom's party. No caption, just the receipt. Sarah called immediately. "What's with the screenshot? Stalking my Instagram?" she snapped. "Just noticed you had an expensive brunch right after asking for rent money," I said calmly. "Looked delicious." Silence. "That was different," she stammered. "Kyle was meeting investors. Like the designer sunglasses were for investors or the spa retreat was networking." Another pause. "Who's been talking?" she demanded. "Does it matter? I'm short on cash, might need to pause the payments." She scoffed. "You, short, you make bank coding." There it was, the entitlement Corinne warned me about. "I make $120,000 and I've given you $24,000 a year. Do the math." She hung up. Kyle texted a rant about me ruining the family. Sarah sent a cropped electric bill photo playing the victim. Even Mom texted saying Sarah was distraught. But I stayed quiet, watching their panic unfold. Sarah went ballistic, calling Mom crying, painting me as the villain abandoning them to eviction. Mom called me at work, a rare move. "James, Sarah says you're refusing to help. They might lose their place." I explained I'd given them $36,000, told her to check Sarah's Instagram. Mom scrolled in silence, seeing the brunches, the shopping, the trips. "Oh," she whispered. Sarah kept spinning stories, telling relatives I was into crypto scams, having a midlife crisis, or joined a tech commune. Matt just sent laughing emojis, thrilled by the chaos. Then Kyle showed up at my office, a typical Austin tech hub with foosball tables and craft coffee. The receptionist messaged me, Guy says he's family, demands to see you. I found Kyle in the lobby, pacing in his realtor outfit, knockoff watch gleaming. This has gone too far, he said. Sarah's a mess, rent's due, power's getting cut. I showed him Sarah's latest post, a gym selfie with new fitness gear captioned #selfcare vibes. His face reddened. That's not what it looks like. She's building her brand. Right, like your $400 bar tab was networking, I said, pulling up another post. You tag everything, Kyle. It's not creeping, it's public. He switched to threats. You don't want me as an enemy. I have connections, I laughed. Connections? Kyle, I checked your license record. 0 sales in 8 months. The only connections you have are bartenders. Security was watching us. He backpedaled. Think about what you're doing to Sarah, to family. I have, I said. $36,000 worth. I'm done. I walked away, hearing him shout, this isn't over. But it was. Mom called a family meeting at their house, the kind where the troublemaker is expected to apologize. I came prepared, laptop and cable in hand, with a presentation of receipts. Mom was anxious as I connected to their TV. Dad was engrossed in his tablet, probably playing chess. Matt grabbed a front row seat, whispering, this is gonna be legendary. Sarah and Kyle arrived late, her with flawless tear-streaked makeup, him in a business blazer. They froze, seeing my setup. What's this? Sarah snapped. Just a visual aid, I said, opening my presentation. Since we're talking money, let's be clear. The TV displayed a timeline of my $36,000 in payments, synced with their Instagram posts. Here's you at that fancy sushi bar, I said, pointing to a photo. Posted 3 days after you couldn't pay your water bill. Nice sake choice. Kyle sputtered. That was business. I clicked to their receipt, captioned date night goals. Strange way to label a work meeting. Sarah tried. You're twisting things. Those posts don't show everything. Next slide, my color-coded spreadsheet. You're right. So I tracked every payment, every excuse, and what you actually bought. I highlighted their emergency claims, followed by luxury posts. Kyle stood, furious. You're obsessed, scouring our social media like a weirdo. Weirdo, I countered, clicking to their geotagged posts. You broadcast every meal, every store, every receipt with Blessed Life tags. Matt was grinning. Mom was shocked. Dad put down his tablet. I dropped the bombshell. You mocked me behind my back, calling me a tech loser who buys your friendship, saying I waste money on you. Sarah flushed. Aunt Karen told you, she hissed. Yeah, because she values family, not just their bank account. Kyle tried again. We were stressed, okay? Just joking. I clicked to their latest purchases. Sarah's $900 skincare device, Kyle's designer sneakers, their gym memberships. Mom whispered, Sarah, is this true? Sarah sobbed. We had to keep up appearances for Kyle's career. I finished, which hasn't had a sale in 8 months, want the records. Kyle knocked over his mug, shouting, you're making us look like thieves. No, I said. I'm showing who you are. You used me, mocked me, and played victims when I stopped. Dad finally spoke, his voice steady but firm. Kyle, sit. Sarah, stop crying. James, show it all. For an hour, I laid out the payments, posts, and lies. Mom cried. Dad looked exhausted. Matt slow-clapped. Sarah and Kyle tried to leave, but Dad made them stay. When I closed my laptop, Mom said, I'm so disappointed in you both. Game over. 3 months later, the fallout's satisfying. Sarah and Kyle's Instagram is dead. No more brunches or #life goals posts. Kyle's Audi was repossessed. He's driving a beat-up 2010 Corolla now. Their $4,000 loft, evicted. They're in a basic apartment now, and Sarah's posting about simple living to save face. Kyle's license is hanging by a thread, and Sarah's down to 1 gym job. I've redirected my $2,000 monthly to my home fund, upgraded my laptop, and switched back to quality tea. Mom and Dad are still processing but have set boundaries with Sarah. Matt keeps sending me memes calling it the takedown of the decade. Me, I'm just a geek who stopped being the family bank.